Citizens of the new America, here are today's announcements.
As my first order of business, I hereby declare martial law.
Supreme Leader Donald Trump proclaims the 4th of July will no longer be celebrated as Independence Day. In honor of our 2021 Patriots, January 6th will now be recognized as our great nation's birthday. All citizens are required to participate in quadrant festivities. Failure to do so will be met with harsh punishment and immediate incarceration. Abortion is now illegal.
Restricting abortion.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
I agree with that.
Anyone caught providing or receiving an abortion will be charged with murder.
Because of my father, I was thinking I could, pros and cons. Also, a lot of people judge me based upon him at first glance, but I really disagree with most of his views.
But why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening? Why? Hey.
Okay. He's just talking.
Why does this keep happening? Tell me why in his face. And why did you come here to the convention?
You need to back up. You need to back up.
Why? When 19 children died. 19 children died. That's on your hands. That is on your hands. That's on your hands.
To this morning, there are plenty of questions surrounding Texas Senator Ted Cruz's fundraising arrangement with the company that distributes its podcast. The company iHeartMedia employs lobbyists, and senators cannot accept financial gifts from lobbyists. Our partners at the Houston Chronicle uncovered records showing iHeartMedia donated more than $630,000 last year to a PAC, which, according to its own website, exists to ensure the senator's reelection.
So if an entity which employs lobbyists is giving hundreds of thousands of dollars a year to your reelection efforts, how can you say you're not being compensated?
You know, it really is sad what's happened to the media, which is the media exists right now seemingly to parrot left-wing Democrat attacks.
Fuck you, Ted! Fuck you!
Before I forget, guess what Trump knows more about than anything you ever will do? Time's up.
Nobody knows more about campaign finance than I do.
I know more about drones than anybody. Nobody knows much more about technology, this type of technology, certainly, than I do.
Nobody knows more about technology than me. Nobody in the history of this country has ever known so much about infrastructure as Donald Trump. I know the H-1B. I know the H-2B. Nobody knows it better than me. I know more about ISIS than the generals do, believe me. I understand things. I comprehend very well, okay? Better than, I think, almost anybody.
And by the way, who knew the other side of the picture better than me? I knew it.
Nobody knows more about environmental impact statements than me. I understand the power of Facebook maybe better than almost anybody. I know more about renewables than any human being on earth. Nobody knows more about polls than me.
I know more about courts than any human being on earth.
I know more about steelworkers than anybody that's ever run for office.
I know more about golf than Obama knows.
Nobody knows more about banks than I do. Nobody knows more about trade than me. Well, obviously, he doesn't know about nuclear weapons. I know more about nuclear weapons than he'll ever know.
I understand the tax laws better than almost anyone.
Who knows more about lawsuits than I do? I'm the king. I know more about offense and defense than they will ever understand.
And nobody even understands it but me. It's called devaluation.
I understand money better than anybody. I understand the system better than anybody. Nobody knows more about debt than I do.
Nobody knows the game better than me.
I know more about contributions than anybody.
And who knows more about the word apprentice than Donald Trump?
I understand politicians better than anybody.
Nobody knows politicians better than me. Who knows the other side better than me? Who knows the other side better than me?
I think I know more about the other side than almost anybody. And I understand the other side. Perhaps I understand it better than anybody else. I was a fair head boy. Nobody knows more about it than me. I know more than these politicians. These guys don't know anything.
I know a lot. I know more than I'm ever going to tell you. I'm actually a modest person. Very modest. It's true.
I'm going to say something which will probably get me into trouble, so if you want to move on, yeah, you can do. This Mark Robinson guy, sorry, he doesn't like black people. You may find that a little bit weird. He just doesn't. He really has something. I have no idea what happens. He looks in the mirror and he doesn't see anybody apart from a clown.
I am tired of black people being referred to as weak, jellyback victims who can't figure out how to survive a traffic stop, who can't figure out how to get a free ID to vote, that can't navigate the easy to navigate ins and outs of everyday life in America. That is.
I have no idea what kind of world those who work at Fox inhabit when they're not on the bullshit factory conveyor belt. Having said that, apparently, did you know, selling Bibles is a normal thing to do if you have 89 felonies, including one where you've been paying hush money, allegedly, to a porn star. I'm missing out on these facts, by the way.
You know, President Trump selling a Bible is kind of a regular guy thing to be doing. Mm-hmm. It's not presidential, right? You know, you've got the sons or the brothers to do the selling of things. This is what Trump does. It takes him into people's kitchens.
I shouldn't snigger, but you tell me how you come up with something which perfectly describes what you're about to see. I'll tell you what. I'll hold a yellow duster. Okay, you're going to glean more information from 5 seconds looking at the duster than what this guy says. But believe it or not, some people, this is their religion. They're addicted to this type of stuff. Doctor, therapy.
I know a man who only drinks liquids that have been around for 1,000 years. Only drinks tea, wine, and water. Should he drink a Gatorade because it's new? Because it has electrolytes, Jessica? Of course not. Something that is new doesn't mean it's progress. Things that have been around for thousands of years are actually pretty good. Look.
Let's get serious for a moment. Crime and murder is a subject which Fox like to go to. They like to see if they can get a tabloid headline out of it and like do the scare thing. I'm not sure who this guest is. Should do my homework if anyone can tell me who this is, because they turned up on Fox Outnumbered and just told some truths. And you so know that the clowns around him were like in their earpiece, which thing they were in their ear, getting instructions. Talk. Don't let him tell our viewers the truth. Crime must be really bad under Biden. We can't have somebody live on Fox say that crime is down.
Certainly, it's good advice to Democrats. Listen, the president had all major police chiefs to the White House just last month. Violent crime is across the board down in most major cities, and that's something we need to talk about, certainly, as Democrats. The highest jump in the homicide rate, the murder rate in this country annually happened in the last year of the Trump administration. It didn't happen in any of the Biden years over these last 3 years. So again, the president is running on his record. Donald Trump is a different situation than 2016, has a record he's got to defend as well.
I consider illegal fentanyl brought in by drug cartels and...
I've always been of the opinion there are those who are just getting ready for their position after the election. Karl Rove clearly is one of those. This is what I would call the equivalent of a self-imploding bomb.
If they were smart, they'd take the January 6th and go hard at it. And they would say, he wants to pardon these people who attacked our Capitol. I worked in that building as a young man. To me, the Congress of the United States is one of the great examples of the strength of our democracy and a jewel of the Constitution. And what those people did when they violently attacked the Capitol in order to stop a constitutionally mandated meeting of the Congress to accept the results of the Electoral College is a stain on our history. And every one of those sons of who did that, we ought to find them, try them, and send them to jail. And one of the critical mistakes made in this campaign is that Donald Trump has now said, I'm going to pardon those people because they're hostages. No, they're not. They're thugs. There were people, some of them had automatic weapons at a hotel in Virginia hoping to be able to be called up. We had people saying, where's Nancy Pelosi? We had people who were, taking desks and sitting at the desk of the Speaker of the House and attempting to, find people in order to bring them to justice and saying yelling at the police, kill them all. And so why Trump has done this is beyond me. If he had said, you know what? I trust our jury system. I trust law enforcement. Anybody who assaulted the Capitol ought to be... he said it once or twice, but now he's appearing in a video with people who assaulted police officers with an intent to take the Capitol by force. So, look, I'm a Republican. I don't want to have a Democrat president. I want to have a Republican president. But we're facing as a country a decision, and everybody gets to make it, as to what kind of leadership we're going to have. And to me, it is a mistake on the part of the Trump campaign to allow the president's impulses to identify himself with the people who assaulted the Capitol. Rather than
3 times I've tried to do this thing. I've tried to shout, I've tried to be funny, I've tried to be serious. It's not working. Here's the dilemma. I was trying to find a way of... I had shot some stuff to do with toilet rolls and these people who spend their time just wiping the backside of Trump. And I thought, can I find a story which will capture your imagination? Well, I did.
I'm just in a shock, right? I just think they have one job. Can you see what their job is? Wiping former guy's backside.
Basically, there is now a new job amongst the Trump fraternity. You're there to scream and shout just in case anybody asks him a question he doesn't like.
Thank you,
Mr. President, do you support the 6-week abortion ban on the Florida Supreme Court? Come Mr. President, do Do you support the 6-week abortion ban that the Florida Supreme Court just
We'll be making a statement next week on abortion. We're going to make a statement next week on abortion.
USA!
Sir.
God bless you, sir. Mr. President, what would you tell Prime Minister Netanyahu? Mr. President, what would you tell Prime Minister Netanyahu? 4 more years! 4 more years! 4 more years!
And cue the drums. Abba yabba do time, a dabba do time, I have a day on. Sorry, I'm getting carried away here. But being totally serious, check this. How many legal voices do you think there are in America? Go on, give me a figure. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's at least, I'd say, 2 million legal voices. That means if you're a powerful losing president, you have access to up to, let's say, small estimate, 2 million legal voices. So, tell me, how the heck do you end up with Yabba Dabba Doo? Sorry, that's a bit of an insult. Duck? You can't call her a duck!
How much of the 83 million is she going to see?
Zero. And then I'm going to sue for attorney's fees.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Oh, yeah.
So she can't go shopping? You mean she can't take shopping?
She can't buy her France? Oh,
Wow,
I watched that. I said, Reid Hoffman, I hope you're watching. DNC, I hope you're watching. This is the person. The person you picked.
Yeah.
I couldn't talk about her cat's name. I couldn't talk about that. Yeah, this.
Look at these people, bro.
You've talked about using some of Trump's money that you're about to get to help shore up women's rights. Do you know what that might be, what that might look like?
Yes, Rachel.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
Tell me.
I had such great ideas for all the good I'm going to do with this money.
Psycho.
First thing, Rachel, you and I are going to go shopping. We're going to get completely new wardrobes, new shoes. That's really good. Motorcycle for Crowley, new fishing rod for Robbie. Rachel, what do you want? Yeah, the lawyers are panicking, by the way. It's yours, Rachel.
Oh, my God.
No, and then if you find the video of her house, there's a video of her. She's got red hair.
90 cats?
That was another one. No, but the cat's name.
Oh, you couldn't say the cat. What's the cat's name? Is this of course you know the cat's
Mouse
Welcome
House.
to the
No, as her attorney, what would you do with all this?
Well,
I mean, literally.
that's what I tried to do. I was not allowed. Imagine if you're a jury and you just see those 2 videos. Are you awarding anybody $83 million?
No.
Okay. I wasn't allowed. So then you got these people on CNN and MSDNC going, Hubba's a terrible lawyer. I couldn't bring it in because the judge wouldn't let me. So yeah, I had a jury. But the judge, before the jury came in, said, Hubba, you're not bringing that. You're not saying that she has a, what is it, a dog named Vagina?
Yeah.
Cat named Vagina?
T Fireball. Let's get it right.
Vagina T Fireball.
Is the cat's name.
Is the cat's name. I couldn't.
That sounds
But
like
no,
trouble.
but if you're saying somebody defamed you, if you're saying somebody hurt you, the most terrible, horrific crime, and my case was just defamation. So you're telling me that I can't litigate through the appellate division the first case.
That is crazy.
Now I have to go on trial for the second case, even though the first case hasn't been determined by the appellate division, hasn't been overseen, right? So now I got to go on trial with this verdict that's insane already. And then I got to go in and the judge says, oh, no, he defamed her. And that's why people think she's crazy because of what President Trump said. And I can't play those videos of her saying rape. Some people would say rape is sexy, whatever she said, on Anderson Cooper, and showing Anderson Cooper cutting immediately, probably.
The Manhattan District Attorney's Office was quick to hit back. In a new filing, prosecutors say the former president has been the one to stoke and encourage publicity around the case, and that he shouldn't be rewarded with an adjournment based on media attention that he is actively seeking. Joining us now, NBC News legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Andrew Weissmann. Andrew, does this case appear to be on track to start on the 15th?
Absolutely. All signs are that Judge Mershana has had it. All of the scheduled motions were supposed to be in weeks, if not months ago. All of the efforts you're seeing at the last minute by the former president to delay this trial have been rejected. As you said, there is now this pending motion about delaying the case because of pretrial publicity. That is going nowhere fast. That's everyone, both sides agree that pretrial publicity is going to continue and not abate at any time. So that's not a reason to put the trial off. It's a reason to make sure you're careful with jury selection, to make sure you can find 12 jurors who are going to be fair and impartial and put aside whatever feelings they have about the case and decide just based on the facts. But we are now 11 days away. And, I knock on wood, I think there are no more delays that are going to happen. We're going to see jury selection begin a week from Monday.
Thanks, Tony. As you know, we lie and bullshit and avoid telling our viewers the truth. But today we can confirm the rumors that Melania Trump won't be sending Cheer after she suspects the TV lawyer is looking to get stiffed by Stormy Daniels.
Chris, thank you. First of all, thank you for the courage you've shown over the years dealing with your health issues, but also for standing up here before the whole nation and explaining to us what you've gone through. It's not easy to do. You know, trying to afford your expensive medications from blood disorders to asthma. Millions of Americans, millions, have similar stories, lying in bed at night, literally staring at the ceiling, wondering what in God's name will happen if their spouse gets cancer, or if their child gets sick, or something happens to them. Are they going to have enough insurance? Can they afford the medical bills they're going to have? Well, they have to sell the house to keep things moving. You know, and you find out the big reason why we're lying awake at night with these questions is because the drug companies are charging exorbitant prescription drug prices. Higher prices than anywhere in the world. And Bernie said it, I was listening in the back, Bernie. You and I have been fighting this for 25 years. Finally we beat Big Pharma. Finally. I'm serious. I'm proud. I'm proud of my administration of taking on Big Pharma in the most significant ways ever. And I wouldn't have done without Bernie. And Bernie got it. You know, look, Bernie was the one who was leading the way for decades in which why we're here today. You know, Bernie mentioned Americans pay more for prescription drugs than any other advanced nation in the world. If you walk in a local drugstore here in America, the prices are at least 2 to 3 times more for the exact same prescription made by the exact same pharmaceutical company in Canada, France, Italy, and even in Eastern Europe, all around the world. But not anymore. For years, people have talked about how Medicare has the power to negotiate for lower drug prices, prescription drug prices the government pays for, just like the VA does when they're able to negotiate medicines and needs for the veterans. But we've tried and tried and tried. And finally, with Bernie's help, I finally got my Inflation Reduction Act, which passed. Bernie helped get it passed. Not one Republican in the entire Congress, this did surprise me, I have to admit to you, not one single Republican voted for it, not one single one, to give us authority to take on and beat Big Pharma. Take insulin for people with diabetes. It costs $10 to make. If you add everything in terms of packaging and all the rest, you can argue maybe $12 total. And they're charged as much as $400 a month. Not anymore. Not anymore. Seniors with diabetes will only have to pay $35 a month from this point on. And by the way, when I first got the law passed, guess what? It applied to every American. Every American. But the Republicans were able to cut back on the fact that the only thing they couldn't defeat was seniors. But I want those savings to be for every single person in America, no matter what their age. No one should pay more than $35 a month for insulin, period. And by the way, drug companies still make a significant significant profit. Because I said $10 to make. By the way, the guy who invented the drug didn't want to patent it because he wanted it to be available to everybody. Well, it's available, all right. Look, folks, there's a whole lot of prescription drugs that are undergoing the process of lower pricing. Medicare is now able to negotiate lower prices for some of the costliest drugs that treat everything from heart disease to arthritis. This year alone, the law that's already passed, it's in the law now, that we signed, Medicare is negotiating 10 of the most costly drugs next year. And they'll do that every year, it goes well beyond 50 drugs. Next year will be 15. It isn't just saving seniors money. Along with other reforms, it's taxpayer money. We're cutting the federal deficit. And people say, well, this costs some money. Guess what? It's costing drug companies money. It cuts the deficit by $160 billion. $160 $160 billion. I'm serious. Think about it. The next 10 years, because Medicare will no longer have to pay those exorbitant prices. Instead of paying $400, they're paying $35. But I think we should be more aggressive. It's time to negotiate lower prices for at least 50 drugs a year. We only have the law only requires 10 now, and then 15 and moves up. Along with other actions, we're not only saving lives, but if we move that number up, we'll save taxpayers another $200 billion on top of the $160 billion because Medicare will not be paying these exorbitant costs. It is a gigantic, and by the way, the other guy talks about cutting the deficit. He increased the deficit more than any president has in history. And we've cut it. Look, in addition to the law we passed, we'll cap prescription drug costs for seniors and Medicare starting in 2025. It's already the law. It doesn't require anything else because when I say these things, you think you can get it done. It's already the law. Your drugs will not cost you, if you're a senior on Medicare, will not have to pay more than $2,000 a year no matter what the drug costs. And as you know, many of you unfortunately know, with your parents, some of the cancer drugs cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 a year. Combined, they'll not have to pay a penny beyond $2,000 a year. And the drug companies will still make a lot of money. Folks, Bernie and I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for every American, not just seniors. We're here today to talk about how we're lowering prices and cracking down on unfair competition in prescription drugs. I'm a capitalist. Capitalism, though, without competition isn't capitalism, it's exploitation. That's what's going on, exploitation. When Big Pharma doesn't play by the rules, competitors can't offer lower prices for generic drugs and devices that carry that medication, so prices are raised artificially. I thank Bernie for leading the charge to do something about this. For example, asthma is one of the most common in America. 27 million Americans have asthma, including 4 million children. Asthma causes about 1 million visits to hospital emergency rooms every year. Nationwide, the cost of treating asthma is estimated to be $50 billion a year, the treating asthma, not the drug, treating the asthma. If you have asthma, you're likely to need an inhaler to breathe. Now, this spring is here. The seasons and allergies are upon us. We're on the rise even more. More people with asthma need inhalers to breathe. You know, many asthma medications may have been on the market for more than 25 years. They cost less than $5 to make. It costs less than $5 to make. But the medication hadn't changed at all. Theoretically, if the drug company came with a new medicine that they invested a lot of money to find a better way, they could argue another price. But drug companies have increased prices for asthma drugs up to 8 times more than the original cost. And the mechanism the mechanisms attached to the inhaler, the thing that makes it, go into your nose or mouth, that is a device that Medicare hasn't changed much either. Look, these big companies try to keep generic companies away from getting patents on devices that deliver the medicine through the inhalers. Not just what's in the inhaler, it's the mechanism that allows it to go into your body. For example, they slightly changed the cap of inhaler, and they used the new patent on that cap to block generic drug companies from being able to enter the market. It's a big deal. Playing these games with patients and pricing, Big Pharma is able to charge Americans significantly higher prices and pad their profits. Senator Sanders has pointed out one company sells an inhaler for $49 in the United Kingdom. You know how much is charged in the United States for that one inhaler? $645. So I take you $645. If you need that inhaler, you get an Air Force One, but the next time I go to London, you can get off and you can get it for. I'm serious. Think about that, though. Just think about that. For the same exact medicine and the same exact device. It's outrageous. Another company sells an inhaler for $9 in Germany. $9 in Germany. And we pay $286 here in the United States. $9 in Germany Same outfit, same company, same device. And so it's 30 times more. 30 times more, I repeat, it's outrageous. We're doing something about it finally. Why in God's name should an American pay $645 for the same inhaler sold in the United Kingdom for $49 by the same outfit? The same outfit. Bernie called out the drug companies during the congressional hearings. And you just heard from Lena Khan, who's the chair of the Federal Trade Commission, who's working with the Food and Drug Administration to crack down on these drug companies. And it's a big deal. As a result of all this action, some drug companies have withdrawn their abusive patent listings for inhalers and other common products like EpiPens. You know, the last few weeks, some of the big drug companies have gotten the message to reduce the prices for some asthma drugs. Bernie's a big reason why that's happened. In fact, 3 of the 4 largest companies are capping the cost of inhalers for many patients. That can be up to $600 out of pocket at $35. There's some progress going on beyond what we've done in the law. But it's about time. And going forward with more competition and more generic drugs in the market, the price could even be less than it is now, coming down. But that's not all. Because of all of you, my Inflation Reduction Act, drug companies that raise prices more than inflation are going to pay back Medicare the difference between what they charged and the inflation rate. This is based on the price of their drugs in 2021. That means consumers will pay less for prescription drugs, and they'll save taxpayers money and discourage companies from hiking prices faster than inflation in the first place. But we want to do more. It's time that drug companies pay rebates when they increase prices faster than inflation, not just for seniors, but for every single American. Every single American. And today's announcement follows action we've already taken to significantly reduce the health care costs for average Americans. We took action to reduce the cost of hearing aids for millions of Americans by as much as $3,000 for a pair of hearing aids. In addition, my administration is banning junk fees on health insurance plans. These are the plans that stick consumers with big unexpected charges instead of covering the care they need. Look, I ended up with surprise medical bills, so hospitals that are in-network can't send you a bill for an out-of-network doctor you didn't choose or you haven't even consulted. I was in hospital for a while years ago, and that happened. Kamala and I are protecting and expanding the Affordable Health Care Act, known as Obamacare, which I might add is still a big deal. Today, thank God my mother wasn't here. Today, 21 million Americans are covered through the Affordable Care Act, 9 million more than when I took office. Exact tax credits, we enacted tax credits to save an average of $800 per person per year, reducing health care premiums for millions of working families who have coverage under the Affordable Care Act. These tax credits, though, expire. I can only get it through this year. And I'm calling on Congress to make tax credits permanent for this process. And folks, all of our progress is in stark contrast to my predecessor and mega Republicans in Congress. They want to, quote, I love their word they love, they want to terminate the Affordable Care Act. I love it, terminate. As my predecessor says, kicking millions of Americans off their health insurance. And by the way, the vast majority of these people would not be able to get insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. They also want to eliminate the Inflation Reduction Act, eliminate the savings to lower prescription drug prices, and so much more. During the last administration, my predecessor exploded the national debt more than any previous president in the history in a 4-year term. More than any previous. He talks about the debt. He exploded it more than any other president in a 4-year term. With his $2 trillion tax cut that overwhelmingly benefited the very wealthy and the biggest corporations in America. Now he and his Republicans in Congress want to cut Social Security, raise the age, and cut Medicare, while they cut taxes for the very wealthy again. You know, I got a better idea. I'm going to protect Social Security and Medicare along with Bernie and other members of Congress to make sure the wealthy begin to pay their fair share to keep these programs solvent. It's not hard. And let me repeat what I said that even some people like Bernie didn't like at the beginning. I don't blame them. But I said in day one, to make a point, no one in America will pay a single penny more in federal taxes if they make less than $400,000 a year. I wish I was able to do that. I was listed, and Bernie used to kid me about it, I was listed as the poorest man in Congress for 36 years. I didn't think I was poor. I got a good salary, but it was the poorest man in Congress. Trump brags about he's the reason Roe v. Wade was overturned. Here's his quote: "I did something no one thought possible. I got rid of Roe v. Wade," end of quote. And now he and his MAGA officials are calling for a national ban on the right to choose in every state. I promise you, with the Democratic Congress, Kamala and I will make Roe v. Wade the law of the land again. I promise you. I'm talking too long here. Let me close with this. I'm excited about this. I'm really proud of what we've been able to do. I really am. Bernie and I have been doing this work for a long time. I know we don't look it, but we've been doing it a long time. Bernie and I have something else in common. We both married way above our stations. But at any rate, what we know, we've made historic progress in the last 3 years. $35 for insulin for seniors, $35 a month for inhalers, for asthma, $2,000 a year total cap on cost for seniors. We're lowering the cost of some of the most expensive prescription drugs for seniors. And what I want to do next, what we want to do next, is these caps and costs for everyone, not just seniors. With Bernie's help, we're showing how health care ought to be a right, not a privilege in America. And that's why I've never been more optimistic about it. I really mean it. You've heard me say in this very room how optimistic. I am optimistic because the laws we got passed are now coming into effect, whether it's infrastructure or whether it's this. I mean, there's so much more. We have to, and I've said this many times, and I'll get out of your hair. You know, we have to remember who we are. We're the United States of America. I mean, this is from the bottom of my heart. We're united. There's nothing beyond our capacity.